Hey there, everybody. If you can see me, you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. You enjoy our first session? You good? Yeah? Hopefully this just demystified it a little bit, made it a little bit easier. Tomorrow it's going to be even better because we're going to do it. I did this. How many of you attended GoPro last year? Put a GoPro in the chat if you attended last year. Remember when we did this? When we basically sat in the room and forced everybody to just start conversations? Maybe it was some MPW. I can't remember. I did it at one of the events. But we're going to do it together tomorrow. And we're going to just do it live. I'm going to answer questions as we go. I'm going to give you scripts and ideas. I've got this. This is one of the things you're going to receive as VIPs. This is the 100 Conversations Catalyst. The intro scripts, conversation starters, relationship strategies. We're sending this out to all of you. If you don't have it already, you're going to get it soon. So congratulations for considering yourself a VIP, because I consider you all a VIP. So well done, you. I'm glad you're here. And also congratulations in advance for getting a free ticket to GoPro or a GoPro VIP for just getting into the Now site platform and playing around with it. We're going to be using it a lot over the course of the next couple of days. And there's so many tools coming inside of that platform in order to be able to help you and your team be more productive. The productivity numbers are crazy. How many are already using Now site in some form or fashion? Put a 2 in the chat if you're already using it. I'm curious. Can you update the messages so I can see that? So a lot of you using it already. So if you're not, you can see what other people are getting from the benefit of it. Even if you're not a tech person, and a lot of people are not tech people, okay? It's okay. Let me tell you what I told. We moved our son, Dominic, to college yesterday. So big emotional day. We're now empty nesters. We moved our youngest son to college. And what I told him is what I will tell you. Pay attention to AI and be early adopters. How you can use it in growing your network marketing network. How you can use it in building relationships. How you can ask the right prompts. How you can be the smartest one in utilizing these tools. I told him the same thing I'm telling you. Be early adopters in becoming great at this. Where's the GoPro conference this year? In person, it's in Las Vegas. There's about 100 tickets left for platinum tickets that you can get. About 100 tickets if you want to attend in person. It's the coolest room in the world to be in. Includes a party at our house, food during the 3 days. And it is a powerhouse room of people. And for everybody else around the world, it will be virtual. Okay, so if you want to go, if you go to VIP@networkmarketingpro.com, email VIP@networkmarketingpro.com, let them know that you'd like to go, and they'll help you with your platinum ticket. Okay, it's in Las Vegas at Worry Studios. Everybody else will be virtual around the world. Okay, so let me introduce you to some of the superstars that are going to be sharing some content today. And we're going to do some Q&A with them. I'll have them each introduce themselves, but we'll bring them up on the screen. First one I'm going to bring up is a dear friend of mine, superstar leader, and just an amazing soul. Her name is Tina Joy Carroll. Tina, are you there?
I am. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And I'm sure we do have Persian and Iranian inside of Now Site for those that asked in the comments. Tina Joy is here. She's a superstar with her team, and she's here to be able to help you answer some questions. We also have Courtney Shepard, who I just recorded a podcast with this week that's going to be coming to you sometime soon. She's a rock star with her business. These are all with different companies. So Courtney's here to talk to you about how to get more conversations started inside of your organization. We have John Melton of John and Nadia Melton. Nadia is the more powerful of the two for sure, but we have John here to share some ideas with you. And we have Natalie Nicole Graham, and Natalie and her team have, I think, probably had the most people inside of this challenge of anybody that I'm aware of in any company. So she knows how to start conversations, how to keep them going. All four of these are superstars. All four of these are super, super smart. So what I want to do quickly before we open it up to questions is, Tina Joy, what did you get out of this last, our first part of this challenge, and how important are conversations in order to be able to grow your business? What have you learned?
Oh gosh, well, that you do it a lot like me. You use paper and pen. That's exactly how I've done it since the beginning. And I do exactly the same method you do. I put little check marks. I highlight when they purchase or join so that I always know who's on my list and who I need to follow up with or, go back and talk to some more. But one of the things I think is so important for people is you've got to talk to people if you want to grow a business. And it'll feel weird in the beginning. I'll never forget sitting in the truck, driving to my son's college to go see him. And I was told by a mentor to send a particular message. And it just felt icky. It didn't feel like my words or what I would say. And my husband looked at me and he was like, she's making like $200,000 a month. Send the dumb message. And so it was in that moment that it clicked for me, like, okay, I'm just going to send the message because clearly what I'm doing isn't going to get me the result that I want, and what she's doing will. And so my best advice here at the beginning is just do what he says because it actually works.
Love it, love it, love it. And there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you click, is there? No. There is not. Okay, so if you have a question, raise your hand and we will one by one answer the questions in order of the hands raised, okay? The chat's going to be hard, but just raise your hand and we will go to you with questions, and then think about who you want to ask the question to and what you want your question to be. And we're going to there's a little hand raise button at the bottom of the screen, right? If you see a little hand, there's a little hand raise button. Just click on that. Okay. Courtney, same question to you.
Same question to me. What have I learned today? I just always love the repetition of all businesses conversations, and the way that you always break it down for us. It's like, duh. I think a lot of people's eyeballs in the screen were like, oh my gosh, it is all conversations and I'm not having enough of that. No wonder my business is where it's at. And so I just want to say thank you again for having me on here, and shout out to everyone that's in this VIP section because you're 10 steps ahead already in the process, even if you're doing it scared. And just be normal, like just be a human. That's the biggest thing. I think you ended it with like, I'm your friend. You started it with, I'm your friend. I really am. And you have to give people that same energy online. You have to give them that before they're ever going to want to give you something in return. And the more that you can do that, the more you're going to stand out online.
And let me back up one quick second. Tina Joy, how much are you making?
77,000 a month, right around there.
Courtney, how much are you making?
Around 60-ish on average.
60,000 a month.
Yeah.
All right. John Melton, same question. How much are you making? And what did you learn from today? And what should people be paying attention to?
Okay. That's a lot of questions. 10 million in the last 3 years, averaging 200,000 a month. The conversations I've been having the last 22 years have been the same thing over and over again. Building relationships, nurturing relationships, staying in touch. Things you talked about today. I mean, it really is amazing how lazy over the last several years because of COVID. And I think it's tough for people that maybe, like you said, are introverted or have this analysis paralysis. They got to be so scripted and structured. And the one thing that I think was good for some of us that got in back in the old school days, we had to do the phone calls and we had to do the in-person. It was the only way we could connect with people. And it made it so we had to get great at building relationships, building rapport, asking questions, doing more listening than talking. And it's a big reason we've had so much success. Like, I just think about even today, I'm on vacation, probably see this reflection off of the windows back here. And I still wish people happy birthday today. I still, did some engagement in my stories, or, people that are posting, on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, leaving comments, responding to people's stories. We're professional conversation starters, and whoever has the most conversations wins. That really is the name of the game. And I think sitting back, twiddling your thumbs, waiting for people to respond to your curiosity marketing is a recipe for disaster. So yeah, I mean, being very proactive and starting conversations, even at my level, been doing this for a very long time, right? Tina, Courtney, all of these people, I know them. They are in the trenches every day, building and nurturing relationships. It's the name of the game.
I love it. I would tell you, before I go to Natalie Nicole Graham, who's number one earner in her company, I think you're still number one earner. Are you still number one earner? All right. Before I go there, the thing that I liked most about today is having people realize that there's only two things that can happen from a conversation, either a list of good things or a list of bad things. And both of those things are to your benefit. You learn from the bad and you leverage the good. And the bad, when you learn from it, helps you increase the leverage. So it's just a quantity game. If you just have to have more bad conversations in order to get to more good ones. And the bad's not that bad because you learn from it. So Natalie, number one in your company, congratulations. Natalie Nicole, how much are you earning now?
130,000 a month.
130,000 a month. And how much what did you take out of today's first training out of 3?
Yes. So first of all, I'm honored to be on here. Thank you so much for giving me that call. I truly honor you. You know what? We are in network marketing and people forget to network. That is the key word to it all. And as an introvert, because I think that I speak for most of us when I say introvert, even you, Eric, for introverts, we have to come up with creative ways. And so I love what Mr. Melton just said about, he's on vacation and he's talking to people. When I walked in and checked in today to my hotel, the staff, the housekeeper, I went on the wrong floor and she said, "Oh my God." And it was just amazing because, the CEO and the janitor, you want to treat them with the same respect, y'all. Because I remember even coming into this industry and nobody knew who I was. I was the new kid on the block. It's like the new kid in high school. And so nobody knew me. I was around all these veterans. I've only been in network marketing for 8 years now. But I had to learn and grow. So how did I come out of my shell? Conversations. And by being really authentic, what I realized is that when I'm telling my story, it's easy to tell my story. I don't have to memorize it. A lot of times people say, "What am I going to say?" Whatever your story is, what is your truth? What have you been through? You can't mess that up. And so that's where I began. And so once I started doing that, then I realized, hey, there's other things that I can do, like go to Eventbrite and go to these events around my area alone. And I find that as an introvert, typically when we go alone places, the person we talk to the most is the bartender, right? But I start networking with people around me because I can have better intimate conversations with people solo than I can in a group. So just starting those conversations and simply saying, "What's your Instagram? Can we exchange information on Instagram? You follow me, I follow you." And also another little quick trip with conversations as an introvert, and I'm speaking about introverts here because there's majority of us on my app, on Instagram, on Instacart and Amazon. I tell the people who are delivering, "Hey, stop, grab a snack and grab my card, follow me on Instagram and have the most amazing day." I have gotten so many people that delivers my food and delivers everything that has joined my business from a conversation that I didn't even specifically have with them in person, but they saw it on my caption. So it's just so many different ways that we can start conversations. When you think of conversations, don't get too afraid. You just go out and do it in different ways. There's a majority of ways that you go and do it without even speaking, texting, as Eric states, your contact list. So yeah.
Thank you for that. And the other thing, the big thing that I wanted people to understand today is pretend you don't have a product for right now. Pretend you don't have a business. Even if they ask, how's that product going? How's that business going? Just be interested in them. And the opportunity will come, and the pivot will be easy. So everything's going to be fine. Somebody said joining now because the registration was slow. Log in early tomorrow. We're trying to get 30,000+ people through one pipe. And if you try and do it in the last 2 minutes, it's going to be an issue. So let's go to some questions, and we're going to start. I think Tova is first. Hi, Tova. You can ask a question to anybody you'd like. You just need to unmute yourself.
Okay, there we go. All right. So to Courtney about starting conversations, did you say you write them down on paper as well? She's on mute. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that one was for Tina Joy.
Oh,
That
Tina
question.
Joy.
No, it was for you, Courtney.
Well, I'm in front of you, Courtney.
Either
you can-
way, I can answer too.
So starting conversations, I will say this, I'm 58 and I definitely feel like I get brain fog once I start 30 conversations and I write stuff down and all that. It still gets lost. What's your advice to just keep going? Because I know the answer is to keep going, right? And whoever starts to respond back to you, I want to do a better job of remembering all the details when I'm talking to someone. So what's your advice? Because I think that's what stops me, honestly.
So if you are there, he gave you great recommendations. So I'm going to remind you of those. Those books are going to help you. How to Win Friends and Influence People is like the new age. I don't even remember what the old book was, to be totally honest. It's the newer version on building relationships, on getting to know people.
It's a new version of the old book, is what it is.
Yeah, but there was another one I thought. Anyway, not important because this
be.
book is great. And what it's going to do for you is give you those powerful questions. Because what social media provides us are the receipts. I don't have to always. Now the in-person conversations, you gotta take better notes, put it in the phone contact note section, something like that. But you can train your brain to have a better memory. You're just holding on to things that aren't serving you. And so if you want to be a leader in this business, if you want to be a professional network marketer, declare it, make a decision, and you'll start operating differently in your business. So it's super simple. Just make a decision, take the notes, and read those books, and they'll help you with it.
Tina Joy, you had a tracking mechanism since you're kind of old school as far as how you're tracking your contacts. How are you doing that?
Yeah, so just a lot like Courtney said, I have just a notebook that I've just been adding on to that notebook for years since I got started. And so I write down the name when I spoke to them, whether it was business, a B, or product, a P. It's that simple, right? So I know which one I'm talking to them about. And then, like Courtney said, when I'm speaking to them in text or through Messenger, I've got the receipts there, so I don't need to remember everything. Now, one thing I do a little bit differently is when someone actually joins me in the business, I do keep an index card on every person that joins me because I have a face-to-face Zoom with that person because I want to know about them why they're doing this. I want to peel back the layers of the onion to figure out why they want the money and what the money's actually attached to. Because when I know what the money's attached to, I can get them into action. When I have no concept of why they even are doing this thing, it's going to be really hard for me to get them moving. So I do keep index cards, and I've got stacks of those from the people I've recruited over the years. And then what that does is it helps me go back, and I know this is probably for another day, but you ask. I can go back then when that person stalls or they stop taking action or they're not showing up for the things. And I can say, now I'll use Courtney as an example, but Courtney, you said that you wanted to stay home with these 3 kids, or that Courtney, you said you wanted to put those kids in private school. How are we going to do that if we don't do this? And so it gives me something to fall back on, because that was a face-to-face conversation versus in Messenger. And also too, it puts that human touch in a very virtual world. Like, I built my whole business online, but I also have that human touch of doing those one-on-one Zooms with every person I recruit. And that's really built some stability and a solid foundation in my organization.
And I would also say that, yes, all of the VIPs get recording of this session as well as the previous recording, so you'll have access to both. Thank you, Tova. Let's go to Deborah Schroeder. She's next.
It's unmute. Oh, there we go. I was trying to unmute. Strangely, my question was very much the same thing. How do you track? Because I've got, various CRMs and notebooks, and it's everywhere. And I guess the second part of that, because I've got all this information, is how do you manage overwhelm? Because right now I'm just in such incredible overwhelm from all of this and all of the information coming in, which is all amazing, but I'm just stalled.
There's a CRM inside of NowSite that will help you with that, to be able to kind of track where you're at exactly in the process and remind you when to be able to contact people. Customer Relationship Manager, I think that's what that stands for, CRM. You can track all your contacts in NowSite. It's unlimited and simple tracking and reminders. It's all in there to be able to help you. I'm still a kind of a paper person. I do it kind of campaign by campaign. Like, if I'm going to do 100 conversations, I'll upgrade my 100 conversations list maybe once a month if I'm in this process, because you drain them out, right? They don't always stay there. One might be a long drip. I've found that I have a question for the panel. How many conversations does it take? Remember the old commercial, how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? How many conversations does it take now to get to a customer, number one? And how many conversations does it take to get to a new distributor signing up, number two? Because they're 2 different numbers. And I'll ask John first. How many are you seeing for a customer? And how many for somebody joining your business? How many conversations?
I don't keep track of conversations personally. I only keep track of people that I actually ATM, like the people I'm actually exposing to the opportunity. And I got to say, I wish I had something like NowSite 20 years ago, where I could keep track of every human I'm recruiting, sponsoring. I mean, that system is hands down the best tool out there, in my opinion. But also, someone said they were overwhelmed, and I always say it's better to be overwhelmed than underwhelmed, and be like, this is it. This is the training. This is ridiculous. So be okay with the fact that some of it's overwhelming. That's part of growth. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of you doing this challenge, is to stretch yourself and be a part of this VIP, investing in yourself, being with the very best in the entire world in this profession. But with that being said, I don't know how many conversations I have to find someone that's open.
How many conversations before somebody gets into how many conversations before somebody gets into an ad tag message group on average?
Sometimes it's right away. Sometimes I'm wishing I have.
Yes, I know, but if you averaged it,
Let's say 1 out of 10, probably.
What do you mean? What out of 10?
Conversation to find someone. But I mean, the challenge with me is a lot of people come to me at this point, right? But I'm still proactive in starting conversations. So someone might come to me. Here's a great example. I enrolled someone last week that's been following me for 7 years. We've never talked about my business before, but I've stayed in touch with her on and off for 7 years. She's followed my content. You know, we've been friends, and she reached out to me. She enrolled, and she's already enrolled 8 people since last week, and she's very excited. But it's a combination of the two, right? It's the front end, the marketing, the branding, you know, putting out content. But if you're not starting and maintaining relationships on the back end, you're going to have a very low close ratio. Like my close ratio is super high. If I ATM, because I keep track of everybody I ATM, everybody I expose. So if I ATM 20 people, I'm going to sign up at least 5. Sometimes I'll sign up 10. I mean, give a
30-second example of what ATM is.
So it's simply exposing people to the products, opportunity, helping people make a buying decision using Facebook groups. So inside of these groups, add them to the group,
tag them in the group, and tag them to a video and message them. Yes.
Yes. So instead of just sending someone a video, social proof, and they get caught in some rabbit hole on YouTube or, you know, whatever other videos or tools people are sending, we add them to a group. That's the only way they can see the information. So they have to get added to the group, tagged in a video, and then I send them a message. So ATM.
Courtney, we had this conversation while you're here at the house. It used to be for years, it takes 4 to 6 exposures person to person for a person to make a decision to join your business. It usually took less than that for somebody to try your products. Online, what are you seeing the numbers? How many online exposures before a person decides to become a customer? And then how many online exposures before a person decides to become a distributor?
So I would honestly say when I originally was sharing this with you earlier this week or last week, I felt like it doubled. And Eric's reference to it was like, I feel like it's like 30 times. And I would say I agree, because nowadays everyone online is selling us something.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is, like, the faster that we start to understand, we're all salespeople. This isn't original to me, but we've been selling since we were born to our mothers and our fathers. Like, we're hungry, we cried. We needed a diaper change, we cry. Like, we've been selling. And for some reason, when things don't work out for us at a restaurant, we're going to tell way more people about it than when we love the restaurant, because we're trying to keep it to ourselves. So this is the psychology of what people have been trained to do. They love you. They fall in love with you. They don't want to share you with everyone else at first. So how can you stand out in the process, and how can you expose yourself to them more times in more places than anyone else is going to do? You have to create an omnipresence with your energy. And it's okay if you want to fall in love with one platform first, but you have multiple ways on that platform to expose yourself to people, through stories, through live videos, through posts, through your long captions. Okay, longer captions, you're going to get more attention. Different types of video content, you're going to get different types of attention from people. And I think I'm missing one inside of that content creation. You know what I'm saying? So those are all exposures. Those are all follow-ups. And many of you underestimate and undervalue that. And you're just thinking of in the DM. That's another way of follow-up. But the other one that I think is the most crucial that not enough people are doing, because I go to y'all's pages, I see it, I'm looking, I'm seeing your reels blow up, all the comments, and then I go and you're not replying. It's like people are walking up to your front door, they're knocking, and you're not responding. You're not saying hello. You're not being like Natalie, who is offering them. Like, that's such a great idea. I want to deliver her food so I can get this sweet message. You know what I'm saying? So how can you stand out and just go a little bit above and beyond? Because your exposures are going to happen less frequently, but the goal is to expose yourself to more and more and more people, so you're not wasting time, like Eric was talking about with the 100, that you're just running those people dry, like the honey on the side of the pot. Like, you don't want to run them dry. You want to keep it flowing so the honey can keep moving.
Yes. I also I want to say, if you want to know what ad tag message is, just Google ad tag message network marketing, and a bunch of different trainings will come up, and it will show you exactly how to do that. If you want to use that as a tool, a lot of people do. The other tip I will give you, we're going to talk about this tomorrow and for sure on Friday, is to get off the platform that you started the conversation on and continue the platform on a different continue the conversation on a different platform. So if you start the conversation on Instagram, then get onto voice or face as quickly as possible. A voice call, or you have a second, a Zoom or a FaceTime or something. I don't care if you go from Facebook to Instagram. Just get off the main platform you started on and get onto a different platform to continue the conversation, and your results are going to change dramatically. But there's a hierarchy of conversations. Okay. And we'll talk about this. Let me just give you the hierarchy. Deborah, are you ready for this? The hierarchy starts with face-to-face in person. That is the highest level. And if you can be face-to-face in person with other people in your business, that is the highest level. Then face-to-face, just you and that person. Then face-to-face online, then voice to voice, then any electronic message, then interaction on a post. Right? So that's the hierarchy as far as lower quality to higher quality. So what you want to do, wherever you're starting, you can start with you post, they respond, they react, and then and then NowSite teaches you how to respond back to them in an effective way. Then you want to increase the quality over time until, if it's possible for you to be face-to-face in person, do it. Even if that means driving across town for lunch or coffee or something. If not, then face-to-face, all you got to do is FaceTime them or send them a Zoom link. And let me give you a quick Zoom tip. Here's a Zoom tip. Every one of you should create a personalized Zoom link. John Melton should have johnmeltonzoom.com. Natalie Nicole Graham, you decide how many of those words you want to have in there, but you could have nataliezoom.com and have that redirect to your Zoom. So you don't have to give people weird password, links and passwords that they can't remember. Just say, go to nataliezoom.com right now and let's have a conversation. Tina Joy, zoom.com. Lock it up.
Got it already.
It worked for me. All you have to do, how do you do that? If you have a Zoom account, just have the Zoom account and get that URL and redirect it to that Zoom account, and you're done. And if you don't know how to do it, ask your kids. Or go on YouTube and ask YouTube, and it'll tell you. It's not a problem. This is the easiest thing in the world. And it changed the game for me. My Zoom game changed dramatically because I hated all the URLs and passwords and copying and pasting and sending these things to different people. I hated it. I just send them to my custom Zoom, and that's all I do. And it's makes life so much easier. Natalie Nicole, do you have any other questions as far as or answers to Deborah's question? How do you manage all this? How do you manage all this stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty much I'm old school too, like you, Eric. I am not one of those tech savvy people at all. I've always written a majority of my things down. I have to go back to that authenticity. I know we're talking about conversations, but people, when you respond to them, I love when you say, do the voice. It's more intimate. People like to experience you because they'll forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. They can even sense that through your voice note. People all the time, when I'm sending them a voice note back instead of texting them, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're really responding to me. And it takes like a second to do that, where you have to type all of this stuff.
And even voice messages is better than a DM.
Yes.
A voice DM. It's not as good as a voice conversation, but sometimes a voice clip is better, or a video clip is better.
Exactly.
So add that to the hierarchy of quality.
For sure. And I'll just do a quick little video and send to them, like, hey girl, I'm running around really crazy right now, but I promise you I'm going to get right back to you once I settle down, because I am on the move a lot. So people appreciate that, and they remember that. They're like, oh my gosh, like, even with her busy schedule, she took time out for me. And you got to leave with that love, so that people can you want to make people feel like they're at home and they're comfortable, to where they just keep coming back to you and kick off their feet and let down their hair and be able to be themselves, to talk to you, to make them feel like what you have, they're going to want. And even if things get shaky, they don't want to leave the way you made them feel. So and that's why I don't have a high attrition rate, because when people come in, even when they're going through hardships, the community is so great, because we started with those conversations that were raw and authentic, that they stay.
Yeah. And look, if people get to know you a little bit, they hear your voice, they hear the tone, it makes them go, you know what? This is not just like going to some website and buying something. This is becoming part of, a friendship, a relationship that's going to help me. This person's going to help me make more money. Let's go to whoever's next. I think it's Elena.
No, the first lady was
Livia. All right, let's go to Livia. Hi, Livia.
Hello, good evening from Austria. I'm a
Hi.
mother of a special kid, and I have a bookshop online from 2019. I'm saying that, I don't know if I'm not allowed, but I'm trying to make understandable what I want to ask even you, Eric, because when I start even my bookshop and my collaboration with another company, of course, when we want to read books about motivational books, Eric is on the list, of course. So like that, I discovered you, and now I discovered this kind of meeting. So it is an opportunity, and thank you very much. My questions to be quite on the way. At the beginning, I try to say what I use more, what platform. I will use the email. I will make the challenge that Eric gave us tonight, to make the list with 100 persons. I go on email, I go on Facebook, I go where I go. I am a journalist by profession. Now I'm not doing it. I'm doing this like a business from home, because I have to take care of my son. So I'm asking, how can I go to have more prospects, more people? I go only on Facebook. I try to use promotion. I recognize that in 2019, 2020, before pandemic, I used promoting on Facebook. Now the algorithms are changed so much that I'm not going to put money in something that I don't know how to use it. So how should I do? The messages must be personalized.
Let me answer your question. You're selling too much, and you're not having enough conversations. You need to actually
I'm not
have
too much now.
Well, you're trying to sell too much. You're trying to go straight to the pitch. You're trying to go straight to the product. You're trying to go straight to the opportunity, or your company, or whatever. Build conversation with actual human beings. For all of, and can you scroll up just a bit? There was a question just above that was similar to this. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Like if people ghost you, like if you want to talk about the opportunity, it's happened to me a lot. First of all, I don't want you talking about the opportunity right now. I want you talking about them. They're not going to ghost you if you say hello and, gosh, I loved your outfit on Facebook. It was amazing, and I miss seeing you or whatever. I saw your name and it made me smile, so I thought I'd just say hi. How's your year? How's your kids? If you know somebody else who has children with special needs, reaching out to them, asking them a question, those types of things. You're pivoting way too fast into business or to product, and that chases people away. So slow your roll, slow down the pivot. So quick. This will help you do that. I literally want you to pretend that you don't have. Melanie says it's only letting you, and you've been asking for an hour. Sorry, Melanie, you'll get replays to all of this, so don't worry about it. Slow your roll when it comes to going straight to business and straight to opportunity, and build relationship. Build relationship with the person. Build a friendship with the person. The pivot opportunity will present itself, and I'll help you with that over the course of these 3 days. You don't need to worry about that now. For some of you, you're not going to pivot for weeks. Some of you won't pivot even to product for 2 or 3 weeks because you've been approaching people too hard when it comes to opportunity and product. So they just know anytime they get a message from you, they're just like, ugh, here she comes again. That's a long time, Patty. She said, wow, that's a long time. Let me tell you what's longer. You go straight for the throat and they run away from you. That's longer. Here's what's shorter. Build a real relationship where they want to do business with you. That's shorter, even if it takes 2 or 3 weeks in order to be able to find the pivot. Okay? What if you're calling genealogy leads? I don't see the need unless you've just absolutely torched your friends. And if you've torched your friends, I would reach out to all your friends. How many of you have torched your friend list? Put a 1 in the chat if you've torched your friend list. Be honest. A lot of you. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to have a conversation with them that has nothing to do with your product or your opportunity. And tell them, if I made you feel uncomfortable in the past, I apologize. I was excited and I assumed way too much, and I'm not going to do that again. Our friendship means more to me than a product sale or you joining my business. Can we start over? And start there. The pivot will come. It'll come naturally. It's not a trick. It's actually a real thing. It's better to have a great relationship than it is a sale. I promise you. It's better to have a great network than it is to have somebody who joins your business and quits a week later because they didn't feel special. Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
Does that help you?
Yeah, I know, theoretically, and I think a lot of people on the theory, we know everything. When we have to put in practice, we forgot the details. And this is very important. I know that it's normal, and I said a lot of times in your presentation as well, that we forgot to be human beings. On the part of the relationship, exactly. We don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, you don't need to go sleep with them on a first date. You know what I mean? Just, sorry to be crass, but just be a human being talking to another human being, and then they want to do business with another human being. What does torched mean? It means you've burned your warm market. It means you've made people afraid of responding to you because all they're going to do is get pitched like crazy every single time. You mean don't get married on the first date? Same thing, yeah, right? So have some conversation, let it happen naturally. And here's the thing. I just want you to imagine, all of you, that everybody on your team uses this training and from now on always has at least 100 conversations in process. And now take that times 12 months. That's all they have is 100 conversations in process. And let's say they never even try to actively pivot to the product or the opportunity. All they do is have 100 conversations. How many customers are you going to get and how many distributors are going to join? Just naturally, like gravity. It's going to happen. So just relax, and just talk to another human being like you'd like to be talked to. If somebody called you and said, "How's it? Is your child a boy or a girl?"
It's a boy, 8 years old.
It's
knows
an
about
eight-year-old
it.
boy. Yeah. So if somebody just called and said, "How's it going with your boy?" And you just had a conversation. And that was it. And they just say, "Well, hey, I'm sending good thoughts and prayers and blessings to you and your boy. Have a great day." That would change how you feel about that person.
Yes, you do.
For sure. So it would make you want to respond the next time they send something and say, what's new? How's it going with back to school? How's it going with this? How's it going with that? Imagine everybody on your team has 100 happening at any moment in time, times 12 months. It's an explosion of growth. Instead of a few people doing a lot, it's a lot of people doing a lot. It's just a big ass number. It's huge. So I hope this answers your questions. Does anybody else have answers to her questions?
Well,
That
she
they would
mentioned
wanna
something about
add to-
that. Yeah, she mentioned something about the algorithm that I think I want to address because I think it's important.
Yeah, forget
The
the
algorithm-
algorithm because you're selling too much.
Well, the algorithm favors consistency. And what I see with most people is they start and stop so much that they can never get consistent for people to see their material, to have that attraction piece like John was talking about. That's the position I'm in today, where I'm attracting a lot of people to me, but I've been consistent for 8.5 years. Most people aren't consistent for 30, 60, or 90 days and then wonder why their business isn't going anywhere. And so I would just encourage you to be super consistent. Whether you choose one platform or do them all or work your way into doing them all, the more consistent you are, the more you'll attract people to you and they'll get to know you better through your content. So those conversations won't feel so weird and icky. They literally will feel like they already know you. Like my following, they're talking about my grandkids, what's going on with my kids, my travels, going to Disney. Like they're as much a part of my life as I'm in my life because they're following the journey. So just be super consistent in your socials and you'll start to see that shift change. Don't give up because a video doesn't get great views. I still get videos that don't get great views. Whatever. It's just one video. I just keep pumping them out.
And Renee asked, what if your company's pushing you to sell, recruit? Just tell them I am selling. I am recruiting. So just, I'm not saying if there's easy people to sign up, you shouldn't sign them up. I'm not saying if there's easy people to recruit, you shouldn't recruit them. Go ahead, sign them up or recruit them. But I'm just saying, have that not be the intention when you start. And if you're worried about algorithms, the algorithm is picking up that all you're doing is pitching. And it's also picking up that people are not that interested in that. And that's why you're not getting traffic. If you're bringing value, the algorithm's going to pick that up and it's going to start feeding that value to more and more people. So like Courtney and I talked about the 10-4-1, like in posting, put 10 posts up there that have nothing to do with your opportunity every week, just your passions. 4 that maybe tease them a little bit about what it is that you have, and 1 direct offer, join me or buy. 10, 4, and 1. So hasn't been uploaded yet, this podcast that we just did, but it's coming soon, which a lot of people have followed that same formula. So the algorithm's picking up what you're putting down. And if you're not getting traction, that's telling you that people are seeing you as a predator, not as a value contributor. Okay, so we're going to go for 15 more minutes. Sorry for those that we went over. Tomorrow we won't go over. I had to cover a little bit more with the good and the bad of conversation and some different things that we had to cover today. But tomorrow we're going straight into it. All right, and we'll answer more questions as we continue the process. Who's next? What's the name? Ali or Ale?
Ale.
Which one?
Hi.
Ali. Hi, Ali.
First name, Ale. Hi, thank you so
Hi.
much. Very briefly, what happens when you do not know that person and, for example, someone else refers to you and you start that conversation and building up? What happens there if I don't have anything like, like a previous basis? Thank you.
I'll start and then I'll go to John. If somebody referred me to somebody else, I would just say, hey, so-and-so referred me and said that we had a lot in common. So I thought I'd say hello. If it's a guy talking to a girl or a girl talking to a guy, and just make sure that you're really obvious, that it's not some sort of a creepy come on, that it's not some sort of a, just be straight up. Talk about your spouse, talk about your significant other, talk about whatever. They thought that we'd be compatible, because you run such and such a business and I run my own business, and they thought that, we'd be a couple powerful women to talk to each other. So I just thought I'd say hi. That's something that I would do. I would just face it and do it. John, what would you do?
Well, for me, kind of like what you guys were talking about earlier, like everywhere I go, I'm trying to make friends. I don't want to have commission breath. I don't want to come on too strong. I don't want to always have a motive. I'm just collecting friends everywhere I go, whether it's offline, whether it's online. If someone's a referral to me, my number one goal is to friend them up on Facebook. If we get some new followers or commenters over on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube or TikTok, I'm always, personally, for me, I always want to bring them back to Facebook. Facebook's my number one platform. It's easiest for me to connect with people. It's easiest for me to add them to a group, tag them in a video, put them in a chat with other people. It's all the things that I want to accomplish with a new person I can do on Facebook. And I'm sure most of us are in at least a team training group. Maybe you don't use ATM. ATM is just a process to expose people. It's like filling your funnel. So you're putting people in your pipeline, in your funnel, whatever you want to call it. Your goal is to expose them to your products or opportunity so they can make a buying decision. So whether that's inviting them to a home party, an in-person event of some sort, a webinar, getting them in a group, tagging them in a video, your goal is to expose them to the information, which I feel like is a totally different training that I know Eric will cover during this 3-day challenge. But the biggest thing is, whether you're connecting with someone online, offline, cold market, warm market, leading with the product, leading with the business, or you're just trying to make a new friend, you always want to do your best job to keep it conversational and not come across super scripted, not come across, like I said, as if you have commission breath and you have this agenda. I just want to make new friends. I want to get to know people. Like, one of the easiest things to do every single day is wish people happy birthday. And I know for some people, they're like automating this and they're outsourcing it. I still comb through and wish happy birthdays. Maybe not every day after all these years, but what's beautiful is maybe on a Wednesday, I'll wish people happy birthday that I missed on Monday and Tuesday, and then even do some early happy birthdays for Thursday and Friday. So in one day, I can knock out 5 days worth of birthdays, and I'm not keeping track of those people. I'm not pitching those people, but if they respond, I might ask them, what have you been up to? What are you excited about these days? What are you focused on this year? Just get the conversation going. It's amazing how we overthink this. And then you guys have Now Site, where you can go in if you get stuck in conversation and literally ask the AI, hey, I'm in this conversation with someone. This is what we're discussing. the conversation is, going dead, what do I do now? What would you suggest I say to keep the conversation going? And eventually, like Eric said, even if you get 100 people ghosting you or ignoring you, or it's awkward, you'll be that much better on conversation. So a lot of you are getting so caught up in like the advanced conversation here, the advanced training. Just focus on the 100 conversations. Don't even think about your business or products. Just starting those conversations, getting them going, building that rapport. And by the way, you don't have to respond to people instantly either. That's what I love about talking to people on Messenger or even text message, whatever. I don't have to instantaneously respond to every person. People understand that now. If someone sends you a message, you don't have to instantaneously respond. You can respond 24 hours later. It's not a big deal. But this is what I would focus on, is proactively starting the conversations right now. Worry about all the advanced strategies later.
Yeah, and get out of your head, people.
Yeah.
Even the questions in the chat, get out of your head. When do I pivot? It's hard to pivot. We're not talking about pivoting right now. We're talking about starting conversations. What do I say? Hey, you can't make any mistakes. Just say something that you would say to a normal human being if you didn't have a business, if you didn't have a product. When are they going to get this, Marina? This conversation workbook? It's in Kajabi. So do the VIPs have access to it somehow? Yes. So this workbook is already in Kajabi, so you have access to it. If you don't know how to get there for whatever reason, go to support@networkmarketingpro.com and ask them. And you're going to receive an email with instructions on how to get this. Okay. And give us a little bit of time on the replay of this, because we got to turn it around and get it posted so everybody has replay. But you'll have replay of everything. You're going to have those of you who took a while for you to get in here, you're going to have replay of this. You're going to have replay of the first hour and a half we went. You're going to have replay of all of this whole week. The whole thing for you to be able to look at as much as you want. Okay. You'll have access to the books and the everything, as far as, what the books are that we're recommending. So you're going to but don't get stuck in the weeds. Just breathe, get out of your head, right? And follow instructions. And what are the instructions? I didn't instruct any of you to go read any books right now. I didn't instruct any of you to go do anything other than start 100 conversations, and not the only instructions today were get Now site, start a list. If you want to say hello to some people between now and then, now and tomorrow, fine. And then we're going to show you how to track your conversations on your dashboard. That's it. Okay. The rest of it, if you're one of those people that needs to read ahead and get ahead of your homework, I don't want you to get ahead of your homework. I want you to do your 100 conversations. Okay. And for now, I want you to get Now site, and I want you to start your list. And we'll do the 100 conversations tomorrow. If the only thing that I'm even allowing you to get ahead on at all is you can start a few conversations if you want to. Just keep it basic. Some of you are going way too far ahead. Way too far ahead. Just do as you're told. Be a good employee for right now. You don't need to be a great entrepreneur. Just act like a great employee for right now. Okay? All right. Who's next? We'll try and get a couple more in. And I'm proud of all of you for being here in the VIP. I can't see the name on this person.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for all the great
B.
content.
Hi, B.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're lazy and you just don't type out your name correctly when you sign off.
It's no problem. No problem. What's your question? And who do you want to ask it to?
Well, my name is Benham Host, and I just cracked. I've been in network marketing for 2 years. Just cracked 100,000 K income. The challenge is, thank you. So the challenge is 90% of that money comes from me. Only 10% of it comes from team, and it feels like I cannot find someone similar to me or build something like me. And what I learned, it's all falls into the leadership. So I'm trying to become a better leader, study that, research that. But any tips how I can produce another builders? How can I duplicate myself or actually find better than myself? I greatly appreciate that.
I'll have Courtney answer, but I'll answer first. Is one, this conversation challenge is what you're going to do with every person that joins your business. If you get every person in your business that joins, it's all on you and you're good at bringing people in. It was all on me for 3.5 years. So I understand the pain of that. Feeling like you screw up when it comes to duplication. But get all of them, use everything possible to train them what we're teaching you through this, so they get into 100 conversations, even if you got to sit there and kind of sit there alongside of them while they do it. And then show them what we're going to show you in this challenge, how to eventually pivot that conversation, how to get people started as customers, how to get people started as distributors, move them through the ranks, and then slowly develop them into leaders, right? At the beginning, for almost everybody, it's almost all you. And then it slowly duplication starts to show up, and then you start to be able to develop leaders. But Courtney, it looked like this question resonated with you, so I'll let you answer.
This one and the one before it, because conversations is just it's the only piece of your business that matters. Like, it just matters the most. And now you're at a place where now you need to create duplication. But if you are not leading by example with these conversations, and then in the process of it, share what you're doing, they are going to see such different results when you are role playing with them and showing them how you're talking to people. It's completely different. So you can't rush it. When did you say you how long have you been in the business? When did
2
you
years
start?
ago.
2?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, massive. You're so far ahead of the game. You're in the top 1% already. And that's something that we don't really realize. Once we recruit 10 people, we're in the top 5%, I believe, of the entire profession. So if you consistently work, like Tina Joy was saying, and you show up every single day and you lead by example and you lead with a servant's heart, that you're not relying on what you've done in the past, you're not relying on a title, you're continuously holding yourself accountable to earn the respect over and over again, working hard, showing people that you're doing it. At first, you're going to be frustrated because you're starting to bring people in the business that were the type of person that you used to be. So if you ask yourself right now, would you recruit yourself? And now you're saying, yes, we got to give that time to catch up with the people that you're exposing yourself to. And you have to start showing up as the person that you want to become so you can attract the person that you currently are. Because until you start to show up as the next level version of yourself, the people that are operating like you are right now don't realize that you have something that they can plug themselves into. So to bring this back to conversations, because it's the most crucial part of all of our businesses, because if we don't have our mouth talking to people, we don't have a business. So if you ask yourself, first and foremost, y'all are overthinking this, okay? And when we overthink as women, because I see a lot of women on here, and it's okay if you're a man, and it's still going to apply, just take the stinking thinking out of it, because that's the masculine energy. Get into flow state, shift your energy, put a smile on, get the rebounder. I know Eric has a rebounder literally around the corner. He's got a gym. He can go get his energy up before he comes in and talks to us. Most of y'all have to do the same thing too, because you're building online so you don't have to talk to people in person. But guess what? You still have to talk to people. So you have to surrender to the process that no matter what, you have to talk. Your mouth has to move. And if you talk a lot, you have to get better at listening and asking really good questions when you are talking. So how can you slow yourself down? This is for everyone, the question before and for you, Benem, but how can you allow yourself to slow down to speed up? And that is building relationships in the conversation. That is just taking the time to get to know people. And one of the best things that helped me shift from being this robot and trying to ask the same questions, I saw someone write FORM. Don't do that to yourself. Don't sit there and feel like you have to check every box. Oh my gosh, I haven't hit F yet. I haven't asked them. Like, go to their page, see what they're posting about, because they're going to tell you what's super important to them, and then bring that into the conversation. Get really, really good at that. And if you have people that aren't posting online, you're going to have to do a lot more convincing, do a lot more value creation for them to even want to start posting online, to start working the business online. Find people that are already posting that you can relate to, that you can bring those conversations from the post that you're going to comment on into the DM. Oh my gosh, I'm loving your energy. Your profile is so incredible. I love what you're doing. I couldn't help myself. I got sucked in for at least a few minutes because they've seen you now react to 3, 4, 5 things. Now you're coming in the DM. You've commented on something. You've brought that comment to the post that you read into the DM. How is that going to make them feel? So you have to allow yourself to slow down in order to get the numbers that you're looking for of exposure, conversation. It feels tedious. It feels like it's going to take a long time because it is. This is a long game, not a short one. This isn't the drive-through at McDonald's. This isn't getting a job, a job, just over broke, being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. You got to figure it out for yourself. Got to put the big girl, big boy panties on, and you have to be willing to get better at having normal conversations with people and building real relationships with people. That is what's going to make you stand out. And one of the things, last thing I want to say to you is that if you are using scripts, send the voice messages and you'll feel more connected to the conversations that you're having.
Amazing. Listen, we've been going an hour, a little over an hour, so I'm going to wrap. But in the chat, you're asking all the wrong questions. You're asking how you get this. That's the wrong question. That's not your assignment today. This is going to come later. Okay? So you'll get instructions on how you're going to get this. You're asking, which books am I recommending? That's the wrong question. That wasn't part of your assignment today. You're asking, when do I pivot? What happens when I get ghosted again? Is there going to be a PDF of the training today? All of those are the wrong questions. You're asking the wrong questions. Here's the assignment. Put the assignment up. Here's your assignment for today. Get signed up for Now site. Get your list started. If you want to start saying hi, go ahead. And that's really it. We'll show you how to track your conversations in your dashboard. That's all I want you to do. And pretend you don't have a business or a product. Okay? I want to thank Natalie, Nicole, Graham. I want to thank John Melton. I want to thank Courtney Shepard. I want to thank Tina Joy Carroll. Thanks for bringing your value. We have some more great leaders coming tomorrow in our VIP section to answer more of your questions. Be ready to ask them, but load the boat. Get people. Can I talk about replay or not? Yes. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Tell your teams, everybody that signed up for today that for whatever reason was not able to watch the first hour or the first hour and a half that we did in training. Later on today, we're going to post and send an email so they will have access to that replay for 24 hours for free. 24 hours, then it's going to go away. but they'll have access to that replay for 24 hours for free. They won't have access to this VIP. This VIP is just for you. Encourage them to upgrade to VIP for the next couple days to be able to do that. Get the Now site, get your ticket to GoPro. GoPro is going to be off the chain. It's going to be amazing. Learn how to just breathe, get out of your head and follow instructions. Don't be a good entrepreneur. Don't be a good business person. Be a good employee for right now. Just follow instructions. Let us help you. Like back to Jerry Maguire. Help me, help you. Help me, help you. Get out of your own way and stop asking the wrong questions. And you don't need to read ahead. Just do the assignment today. Tomorrow, we're going to smash this conversation challenge. We're going to absolutely smash it. Okay? So follow the instructions. I'll leave them up at the end. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. All right? Love you all. Thanks to our guests. I appreciate you all very much. Talk to you soon. Mwah!